if you look at the actual candidate countries, the ones who are waiting in this sort of almost permanent waiting room, they're getting increasingly angry about it.
Ukraine and Moldova are likely to have their initial EU candidacy approved at a Brussels summit after the European Commission gave them the green light. Ukraine's envoy to the EU, Vsevolod Chentsov, says the decision will bring a morale boost to the Ukrainian people. But how does this process actually work? Bruno Waterfield is our man in Brussels. Hi, Bruno.
Hello.
We spoke, I think it was last week, when they sort of formally submitted their application, and we discussed how long it was going to take. This is sort of another staging post along something which will probably take years.
It'll take over 10 years, probably 20 years. The Albanian Prime Minister, Edi Rama, was coming in to Brussels today for a meeting of the Western Balkans countries who've long been candidates, which is what Ukraine is about to become. He's having a summit with EU leaders today. He said North Macedonia, candidate 17 years, Albania 8 years. So welcome to the Ukraine. He says it's a good thing to give Ukraine the status, but I hope that Ukrainians will not have too many illusions about it. So if you look at the actual candidate countries, the ones who are waiting in this sort of almost permanent waiting room, they're getting increasingly angry about it. So the EU leaders will make Ukraine a candidate member to join the EU, but as we see from existing candidate members, the wait will be a very, very long time, even if they ever get there, because Olaf Scholz, the German chancellor, who claims to be a big fan of enlargement, supports Ukraine's candidate status, says he wants to make the promises that have been made to the Western Balkans credible. He said yesterday that there will be no new enlargement, no one else will join until the EU reforms itself, particularly in terms of scrapping national vetoes over European foreign policy. That's simply not going to happen. So yes, it's symbolic, it's a gesture, it cements Ukraine in terms of its aspirations as being part of the West. But as Edi Rama put it this morning, it's like waiting for Godot.
Is there a risk? I mean, it's sort of good, everyone's, I suppose makes the EU feel good about itself in terms of its attitude to Ukraine. But is there a risk it backfires and that actually those other countries, Albania, Bosnia, Montenegro, have all been waiting for years? Actually, is there a risk it backfires and sort of fosters some resentment towards Ukraine?
Well, I think that's the problem. I mean, I think that is the problem potentially. Is if you build something up, there's always the danger then when you disappoint people, and there's a lot of worries here in diplomatic circles, but also politicians, in terms of the fact that EU enlargement has totally stalled. It's in the Western Balkans. Some of those countries are pretty big, like Serbia. They all had European aspirations, and in that vacuum, the Russians, the Chinese, and others can come into an open door, if you like, because people feel let down and they feel angry about it.
And more broadly, the EU posture towards Ukraine and Russia. Obviously, at the beginning of the conflict, there was lots of conversations about weaning Europe off Russian gas supplies in particular. Where are we on that sort of that debate within the EU membership? It feels like everything's got a bit scratchy between EU countries.
Well, they've gone as far as they can on sanctions, which is quite a long way. We are seeing at the moment that Russia is cutting gas supplies, so it's reducing supply in order that European countries aren't able to build up their reserves, build up their storage before winter. Italy are pushing very, very hard for the EU to impose a price cap on Russian gas, impose a price cap of some 80 euros as compared to 133 euros, which it is today. So the gas issue is still live. It's still there in the background. It diminishes. It goes to the back a little bit during the summer. Europe has halved its dependency on Russian gas, which is pretty impressive, but there's not a lot of wriggle room left because the infrastructure simply doesn't exist to do that. So the gas issue is going to come back.